Started with section 2, that is memory organization. We started with what is the type of memories, what are the different types of memories. We know that there are two in our system. One is primary and secondary. In primary, we have RAM and ROM, and in secondary, we have hard disk and all the optical disk like CDs, DVDs, floppy disk, etc. Then we have studied some characteristics of our memory system. Can anyone list few of them?
Unit of transfer, storage capacity,
Correct. Storage capacity, unit of transfer, cycle time,
cycle time.
access time, access mode, data
Yes,
transfer
ma'am.
rate, data transfer rate. So all these were the different types of characteristics of our memory system. Then we had seen that in performance of storage, we had did the comparison of two different types of RAM, SRAM and DRAM, where SRAM stands for static memory and DRAM stands for dynamic memory. Where static means if the data is zero, it will keep on remaining zero until it is changed by the next input. If it is 1, it will keep on remaining 1 again when it is changed by the next input. But if it is dynamic RAM, DRAM, 0101 can we can have combinations of zeros and ones. So if it is SRAM, how is the data stored? It is stored in the form of
Flip flop 1 bit.
correct. It is stored in the form of a flip flop. But when actually we saw the diagram, we did not see flip flop anywhere, but the transistors were cross coupled to give an effect of a flip flop. Then in DRAM, how the data is stored? It is stored,
Charge.
yes, it is stored in the form of a charge. So since that charge keeps on leaking, therefore what we do is we perform a refreshment cycle, and that refreshment is not needed when it is a SRAM.
SRAM.
So if whenever that refreshment is done, we do not do either read operation or we are not allowed to do even the write operation. So no read write operation is done whenever that refreshment is performed. Then we had seen our DRAM is SRAM is expensive as compared to DRAM, and your SRAM is faster as compared to DRAM. Why is your SRAM faster? Because it is there in your cache memory, which is there in the processor itself, whereas DRAM, it works or it is used in the form of main memory. Then we had seen the next type of primary memory, that was ROM, read only memory, where the contents are not allowed to be changed. They are allowed only to be read, but we cannot write the content. So we consider this type of memory as a non-volatile, which means what? Once it is written, it is permanent and it cannot be changed. But if we see different types of ROM, we are allowed to change the contents. What are the different types of ROM that we saw?
EROM, EPROM,
PROM,
EPROM.
correct. PROM, EPROM, and EEPROM. So PROM was programmable read-only memory, where the user is allowed to change the contents, but only once. Okay. How that contents are changed? We have to buy the blank PROM, write the contents into it by using a programming. And once when we have changed that, once we have written the contents, you are not allowed to change. Then we had seen EPROM. EPROM stands for electronically or erasable.
Erasable.
It
Yes.
is a
Erasable.
programmable read-only memory. So the contents here are written, but we are supposed to erase them by using a UV rays. And once they are exposed to the UV rays, the contents will be erased, and then we are allowed to write the contents. Okay. After the contents are written, again we are not allowed to change them. So if it is PROM and EPROM, the contents are allowed to change only once. But if it is EEPROM, which is electronically erasable PROM, in that case we can change the contents as many times as we want, and they can be changed bit by bit. Whereas in PROM and EPROM, entire chip is made blank and the data is rewritten, whereas here we can change the data bit by bit. Okay, or we can go to any of the memory bank and replace the contents of any of the memory bank, which is not possible in case of PROM and EPROM. Then we had seen advantages of ROM, and then we had come to next type of memory, that is high speed memory. So we know that there are two types of high speed memory, cache memory and interleaved memory. So what is high speed memory? What does a computer do? The computer, what is the role of a computer? or responsibility of a computer? To execute whatever instruction a user has given. So if a user has written a program, the duty of a computer is to execute that program and give the output to the user. If user has pressed the button on the keyboard A, B, C, D, what is a function of a computer? To take that keys A, B, C, D as input and type it and display it on the screen to the user. So whatever request a user makes, it is a duty of a computer to fulfill that request and generate the output. But what along with that, what it should do is whenever those instructions which a user has given, those instructions has to be executed at a very high speed. Okay, the speed or speed judges your performance. How do we say that the performance of a computer is good? We can say that a performance is good based on the speed. If I've given a program addition of a two numbers, and when I give a two numbers 2 plus 2, and after 10 minutes if I get a output, can I say that the system is faster? No, I should get a response immediately as soon as the user has given the input. Okay, so what happens, or because of what reason do you get the output in a very quick time? It is because of the high speed memories. Okay, so the function of high speed memory is what it is: to take the input immediately and to respond to the system once after the input has been received. Okay, so main objective of a computer is to execute the instruction at a very high speed. Similarly, the main objective of memory system is to provide fast, uninterrupted access by processor to memory. What do you mean by uninterrupted access? Uninterrupted access. What is interrupt? This is taught to you.
Which interrupts in between.
Sorry?
Which interrupts in between.
Interrupts in between means what? If I'm executing a program,
While doing a program.
Disturbance that comes in a between. Okay, so if I'm executing a program of a calculator performing multiplication and division, and suddenly if a pop-up comes that virus is detected, and if it does not go, what is that? It is nothing but the interrupt that a system has generated. Now if you remember, I had told you interrupts are also of different types. You may have hardware interrupt, you may have program interrupt, you may have software interrupts. So if in case there is a interrupt, and if system stops the execution and goes and solves the interrupt, can I say that my execution will be delayed and my output given to the user will also be delayed?
Yes, ma'am.
So what have we done is we have prioritized those interrupts into two: high priority and low priority. So if your system is executing a program and if an interrupt comes, first the priority of the interrupt will be checked. If it is of highest priority, the system has to stop the execution and go and correct the errors of those interrupt. But if it is of low priority, your system should continue with your own program execution, and after the execution is completed, after the output is generated, then only the system should check that interrupt. So when I say uninterrupted access means what? All those low priority interrupts should be avoided, and the processor should continue with the processing and generate the output, and then go back to the interrupt and solve the low priority interrupts. Okay, high speed memory are costly. So when I go to buy a RAM and hard disk or cache, my always cache memory will be costly as compared to that of RAM and hard disk. High speed memory is used to increase the speed of the system, but it also increases the cost. So if you want your system should perform in a very high speed, so you can do that, but the cost behind doing that will also go on increasing, because the cache memory is more costly as compared to your main memory and your secondary memory. So which is one of the high speed memory? The cache is one of the high speed memory. So cache memory is your considered to be as a high speed memory. Where is this memory in your computer? It is between main memory and the processor. Okay, so we have seen the motherboard, we know where processor is, and we know where your RAM slots are. So between your RAM slots and between your processor, it is the place where you have the high speed memory is considered to be as a cache memory. Now, another type of high-speed memory is interleaved memory. Now, what is this interleaved memory? It accesses more words in a single memory cycle. Now, what is memory cycle? memory cycle? Or what do you mean by more words are accessed in single memory cycle? Do you remember the square waveforms which I had shown you, low, high?
Yes, ma'am.
That is
Yes,
what
ma'am.
is that is what is one memory cycle. So when it comes to low, 0 bits are accessed. When it comes to high, 1 is being accessed. So for accessing data 1001, how much cycle will I require? For 1, I'll require a high clock cycle. For 0, low clock cycle. Again it is 0, low clock cycle. If it is 1, again high clock cycles. So how many total? 4 clock cycles, no? 1001. So 1001, 4 clock cycles. So if it is interleaved memory, my access more words. Words means how many bits?
16.
16.
So in a single
16
clock
bits.
cycle, in a single clock cycle, how many bits are accessed? 16 bits are accessed, which cannot be possible if it is your RAM or hard disk. Therefore, your interleaved memory is considered to be as a high-speed memory, because in only one clock cycle, it is accessing 16 bits. Whereas if it is RAM, if it is 4 bits, it will take 4 clock cycles. If it is hard disk, again, if it is 4 bits, it will take 4 clock cycles. Whereas if it is interleaved in one clock cycle, it can access all the 16 bits together. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let us come to the first memory, first high-speed memory, cache. So as we saw in the definition, that it is a memory which is between your CPU and your main memory. Okay. So you have CPU, you have cache memory in between, and then you have your main memory. So the memory is very faster. It is smaller in size. It is located in between CPU and the main memory. Now, whatever the functioning your main cache memory does, that functioning is hidden from the user and the system program. So user will not come to know that the data has come from cache memory or main memory or a hard disk. The function of a user is only to give the input and observe the output. From where the data is coming, how the data is coming is not known to the user. So if it is coming from cache memory, you cannot see the functioning of that cache memory. Therefore, we say that functioning is hidden from the user. But we just know one thing, that whatever is being executed has to be brought inside the main memory. So if it is in secondary memory via the buses, it will be brought to main memory. From the main memory, it will be given to the processor. But in case if the data is in the cache memory, it will not go to the main memory and then it will be executed. Since it is nearer to your CPU, it will be executed directly from the cache itself. It does not have to send it to the main memory and then it has to be executed. So since it is nearer, therefore it does not have to go over here. It will be directly executed from the cache itself. Understood? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
It offers high throughput. Now, what is throughput? Any idea? Throughput? Throughput means the
High
time
input.
taken. Sorry?
High input maybe.
High input.
Yes.
High input क्या होता है? High input नहीं. Throughput means the time taken from the submission of input and time taken from the output to take the output. ठीक है? It is as similar to your access time. 12:1 को input दिया, 12:2 को output मिल गया. So what is that? That we say that it is a good throughput, high throughput. ठीक है? क्यों उसने 1 ही मिनट लगाया to give the output. But if I've given a addition of 2 numbers का program at 2:10 and if I'm getting output at 3:10, I cannot say the system is having a high throughput. Why? Because addition of 2 numbers should not even take second to execute. Correct? So the system, if the data is in the cache memory, always you will get a high throughput. Why? Because it does not take much time to come in the CPU and start the execution and give you the output. Okay. Whereas if the data is in main memory, it will take little more throughput. If it is in the secondary, it will take highest throughput. Understanding? Yes, Kunal.
Ma'am, cache memory and interleaved memory are two different memories, right?
Correct. Yes, both are different.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
हाँ, अभी हम लोग कैश मेमोरी समझ रहे हैं, फिर हम इंटरलीव समझेंगे. But both of them are high speed memory.
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है. So along with RAM, ROM, hard disk, we have cache and interleaved also, and they both are categorized as high speed. What are we doing is we are learning what is cache, where it is located in between CPU and main memory. Why it is considered to be as fastest? Because to execute any program in cache, It will directly go from cache to CPU and CPU will execute. Whereas if it is main memory or secondary memory, always the data is brought over here first and from here it is transmitted to CPU. So the time waste हो जाता है secondary से main में लाने को और main से CPU में लाने को. जबकि ये एकदम नजदीक है, तो that time is been avoided. That means the wastage of that time is not there, and hence we say that this is fastest memory. Okay. Now yesterday we had seen a memory hierarchy: register, small, फिर cache, then we had main memory, then we had magnetic disk and magnetic tape. Okay. So memory hierarchy has a locality of reference. What is that locality of reference? We'll see in the next slide. As we move upward from magnetic disk to register, मतलब magnetic disk, tape, main memory, cache और register, ऐसे जब हम move करते हैं, what happens? Speed increases. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Bottom में क्या है? Hard disk.
Yes, ma'am.
Bottom में hard disk है जो सबसे slow है. उसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा fast कौन है? Main memory. एकदम fast कौन है? Cache और register. So as we keep on moving upward, we increase in the terms of speed. But we also increase in the terms of cost. जितना high speed memory रहेगा उतना cost ज़्यादा रहेगा. So hard disk का cost is little less than your RAM. RAM का cost is little less than your cache and register. Okay. Again, when we move upward, size decreases. Is this correct? Your hard disk is in TB. RAM is in, main memory is in GB. Whereas your cache and your registers, they are hardly in KBs and MBs. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So as we keep on moving upward from the secondary memory to the register, we get a good speed. The size keeps on decreasing and the cost also keeps on increasing. Now, how does a cache work? If I have given a program over here, execution of addition of two numbers, okay? That program is in secondary memory. So what will happen? From secondary, it will be brought to main. From main, it will be given to CPU for execution. So first time, I given the input as 2 and 2. So it will do 2 plus 2 and give me 4. Now what will CPU do? It will ask the user, does it wants to save 4 or not as a result, as output. So if a user saves, if you remember, I had told you temporarily result is stored in your register until the user does not save into secondary memory. तो अगर यूजर ने उसको सेकेंडरी में स्टोर कर लिया है तो it is going to be deleted from the register. But if the user does not store it, it will be there in the register till the next input is not given. Once the next input is given, the previous output 4 delete हो जाएगा. अभी when I'm talking that the program is there in CPU and if the user is continuously working on that program, पहले सिर्फ एडिशन का कोड लिखा, अभी उसने डिवीजन का भी कोड लिखा, मल्टीप्लिकेशन का भी लिखा, देन इट इज चेकिंग वेदर एडिशन इज वर्किंग और नॉट, मल्टीप्लिकेशन का इनपुट देके इज इट वर्किंग और नॉट, डिवीजन का इनपुट देके इज इट वर्किंग और नॉट, देन इट विल कमेंट द एडिशन पार्ट, इट विल चेक ओनली मल्टीप्लिकेशन एंड डिवीजन, देन द प्रोग्रामर विल कमेंट डिवीजन and it will check only multiplication is working or not. So jab tak user is doing trial and error on that program, where is that program? It will be in the cache itself. Why? Because user is currently working and it is accessing that data again and again. Once the user closes that program, it will go either in main memory or it will go in secondary memory. क्यों it is stored in cache memory? Because user is using it. तो हम अगर उसको सेव करके secondary में भेजेंगे तो वापस secondary से main में लाओ, main से CPU को दो. That time is wasted. So to avoid that wastage of time, and as a user is using it continuously, it is being kept in the cache memory. Understood? Now if you have decided कि आज मैथ्स पढ़ना है तो आप मैथ्स का बुक बाहर टेबल पे ही रखते हो ना, कि बार बार बैग में डाल के बैग को ड्रॉवर में डाल के आते हो? नहीं. You know that you will be needing this book every time after every 1 hour 2 hour. You will keep it on the table itself. If you keep it in the bag and bag in the drawer, every time you have to waste time going to the drawer, removing it from the bag, keeping it on table, opening it from the table. So to avoid that time, what we are doing is we are keeping on the table itself. So your table is acting as a cache memory. तो आपको ये दिन भर लगने वाला है, since you are working on it continuously, so let it be on the cache. एक बार दिन खत्म हो गया, subject close हो गया, then you can keep it inside your bag and bag inside your drawer. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
That is how your cache memory is working. Clear? Yes.
Yes.
Next, let us see what is locality of reference. The memory hierarchy was developed based on the behavior of a program. ठीक है, जो भी ये हायरार्की बनाई है, पहले सेकेंडरी फिर मेन मेमोरी और फिर हाई स्पीड, उसको क्या देख के बनाया है? प्रोग्राम का एग्जीक्यूशन देख के बनाया है. ठीक है, ऐसे ही हमने सेकेंडरी को स्लो नहीं बोल दिया है. क्यों स्लो बोला है? क्योंकि वो सच में स्लो है. डायरेक्ट सीपीयू से बात नहीं करता, वो पहले मेन मेमोरी में डालेगा, मेन मेमोरी से सीपीयू में डालेगा. So looking at this hierarchy only, we have decided that who is fast and who is slow. So what are the three properties? We have temporal locality, spatial locality, and sequential locality. What is temporal locality? Recently referenced instructions are likely to be referenced again. Maths का book घड़ी घड़ी चाहिए ही चाहिए. So what are they? They're recently referenced. बार बार चाहिए. So what we do with that instructions is we keep on referring it again and again. This is caused by loops which needs to be referenced again and again. तो जो हमको चाहिए बार बार, हम उसको क्या बोलेंगे? We call it as a temporal locality. Okay. Spatial locality. Access the items whose address is near to each other. तो अभी डेटा 3 चाहिए और डेटा 4 चाहिए, तो ये दो डेटा मुझे बार बार लगने वाला है. So what I will do is I will try to store them in a place which is near. तो अगर एक एड्रेस 000 है, 3 स्टोर है उसमें, तो I will try to see कि if 0001 is empty, your 4 should get stored there only. Why? Because when I access, I will be accessing 3 and 4 both together. So अगर एक ऊपर है लोकेशन पे एकदम टॉप पे और एक एकदम नीचे है, so I will waste that time also. So to avoid that, if the next immediate block is free, your data will get stored in that next immediate block. That is what is called as spatial locality. Next comes sequential locality. Execution will be followed in a sequence. भले आपको 3 4 बाजू बाजू में भी रहेगा, पर अगर उसके बीच में भी कुछ एक दो डेटा और है, तो आप डायरेक्ट 3 के बाद 4 नहीं एक्सेस कर पाओगे. 3 के बाद जो बीच में 6 7 है उसको एक्सेस करके उसके बाद ही आपको 4 का एक्सेस मिलेगा. ओके, so these three are called as locality of reference. That means जो भी डेटा आपको रेफर करना है, they will be stored according to the locality. And what is that locality? Temporal, spatial and sequential. जो बार बार यूज होता है टेम्पोरल में डालो. फिर भी जो भी आपको लगता है कि स्टिल वो टेम्पोरल में नहीं जा सकता, उसको नजदीक के एड्रेस में स्टोर करो, विच इज स्पेशल. इफ यू डू नॉट हैव स्पेस इन आइदर ऑफ दीज टू, यू हैव टू गो फॉर सीक्वेंशियल. सीक्वेंस में जो आएगा वैसे ही आपको एक्सेस मिलेगा. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? यस, आर यू ऑल देयर?
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ. Next, let us see the operation of a cache. CPU requests the contents from memory location. Check the cache data. If present, get it from the cache. If not present, go to main memory. Then deliver from cache to CPU. Cache includes tag to identify which block of main memory is in each cache slot. Let us understand this. अभी मुझे एक डेटा रीड करना है. फाइल एबीसी किधर तो मैंने बना के स्टोर कर दिया सिस्टम में. यूजर को तो पता नहीं वो सेकेंडरी में है कि मेन में है कि कैश में है, कुछ नहीं पता. मुझे वो फाइल आज मैंने कंप्यूटर ओपन किया है, मुझे वो एबीसी वाला फाइल चाहिए. सो व्हाट विल माय सिस्टम डू? मैं सर्च बार में सिंपली टाइप कर दूंगी abc.txt. आई जस्ट नो द नेम ऑफ द फाइल विच आई वांट. सो आई विल जस्ट, इफ आई नो द लोकेशन, आई विल गो टू द लोकेशन. अगर मुझे पता है डी ड्राइव में है सेकेंडरी के हार्ड डिस्क के, तो आई विल डायरेक्टली गो देयर. बट इन केस इफ आई डू नॉट नो, इट इज प्रिपेयर्ड बाय समबडी एल्स एंड आई जस्ट वांट टू यूज दैट फाइल. So what I will do is I will just type in the search bar abc.txt. What will system do as soon as when I type abc.txt? It will receive the, first it will start the work कि ठीक है अभी मुझे आया है abcd.txt को ढूंढना, तो वो ढूंढने का काम स्टार्ट करेगा. What it will do, it will first directly search the contents in the cache. Why? Because सबसे नजदीक कौन है? CPU के कैश है. तो डेटा किधर सर्च होगा? कैश में. I have told you this story also. If the data, whenever it wants to search, whenever it wants to read or write anything, it will be first in the cache only. अगर कैश में नहीं है, it will go in the main memory. अगर main में नहीं है, तो it has to be in the secondary memory. Now in case if it is in the cache, वो कैश से CPU को मिल जाएगा, CPU से यूजर को मिल जाएगा. अगर कैश में नहीं है, तो CPU क्या करेगा? मेन मेमोरी में देखेगा. मेन मेमोरी में है तो मेन मेमोरी से डायरेक्ट CPU को मिलेगा, CPU से डायरेक्ट यूजर को मिलेगा. if it is not there in the main memory, it has to be in the secondary memory. So what will CPU do? It will go in the secondary memory. Yes, it is found in the secondary memory. So what it will do, from the secondary memory, it will not come to the CPU and it will not go to the user. From secondary memory, it will go to main memory, and then main memory will give it to CPU, and then CPU to user. Same is repeated if you are writing anything. आप ABC फाइल में राइट कर रहे हो कुछ, तो कैश में जगह है तो वो कैश में स्टोर करेगा, नहीं है तो मेन मेमोरी में स्टोर करेगा, मेन मेमोरी में भी नहीं है तो वो सेकेंडरी मेमोरी में जाके स्टोर करेगा. अंडरस्टूड? दैट इज हाउ योर कैश ऑपरेट्स. अंडरस्टैंडिंग?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Cache includes tags to identify which block of main memory is in cache slot. ठीक है, कैश को भी एक एड्रेस रहता है, जैसे मेन मेमोरी को एड्रेस रहता है ना 0000001, वैसे कैश को भी एड्रेस रहता है. तो कैश के एड्रेस को हम क्या बोलते हैं? वी कॉल इट एज अ टैग. तो अगर कैश, वी कैन यूज दिस कैश टैग टू नो दैट वेयर दैट डेटा इज इन द मेन मेमोरी. ओके, सपोज अभी डेटा इज देयर इन द कैश. ठीक है, अगर मुझे उसको कैश के डेटा को मेन मेमोरी में मूव करना है, बिकॉज अभी कैश में नया डेटा आ रहा है और जगह नहीं है, तो जो एग्जिस्टिंग है उसको मैं मेन मेमोरी में डालूंगी. सो हाउ विल आई पुट इट इन द मेन मेमोरी? बाय यूजिंग दिस कैश टैग. तो कैश टैग से वी कैन कैलकुलेट द मेन मेमोरी का एड्रेस एंड देन वी कैन पुट दैट डेटा इन दैट पर्टिकुलर मेमोरी लोकेशन. तो अगर कैश टैग यूज करके मुझे मेन मेमोरी का एड्रेस आया 2000, सो व्हाट विल आई गो? आई विल गो टू द लोकेशन 2000 एंड आई विल स्टोर द डेटा देयर. अंडरस्टैंडिंग?
Yes, ma'am.
So your cache also has an address and we identify that address as a cache tag. Then this cache tag is converted into main memory address and the data is stored in the main memory. Clear? So what are we telling? Once when the data is searched, it will be first checked in the cache. If it is there in the cache, CPU will be directly executing it and work is done. If the data is not in the cache, it will go in the main memory. If it is there in the main memory, it will be directly given from the main memory. Again, if it is not there in the main memory, secondary में है तो वो load करेगा secondary से main memory में, उसके बाद the data will be given to the user. Understanding? So see, you have a processor, you have main memory this side, and you have a cache in between. Okay? All our processor के पास एड्रेस है to store the data in main memory. Processor के पास data है to store the data in main memory. Processor also has an address to store in cache memory. Processor also has a data to store in cache memory. Everything is controlled by the control bus. अगर cache में जगह है तो address और data cache में जाएगा, अगर जगह नहीं है तो वो आगे main memory में जाएगा. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the cache memory clear? High speed memory cache? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let us go to the next topic, which is address mapping. Yesterday we had studied that there are 4 types of access mode. Can anyone name them?
डायरेक्ट एक्सेस,
Direct.
रैंडम एक्सेस,
Random access.
एसोसिएटिव.
Amit, बताओ.
रैंडम एक्सेस, सीक्वेंशियल, डायरेक्ट एंड एसोसिएटिव.
हाँ, इसमें से एड्रेस मैपिंग वाले कौन से 2 थे जो मैंने बताए थे? Meet.
एसोसिएटिव और डायरेक्ट.
करेक्ट. व्हाट इज रैंडम डूइंग? में हमारे पास मेमोरी लोकेशन है, हम डायरेक्ट वो मेमोरी में जाके डेटा एक्सेस करेंगे. सीक्वेंस क्या है? कुछ नहीं, 000 से स्टार्ट करो और जो भी बाद के कंटेंट्स है रीड करते जाओ. बट व्हाट इज डायरेक्ट एंड सीक्वेंशियल? वी डू नॉट हैव एड्रेस आल्सो. We have to calculate the address and then we have to go to that address and find the data. Correct? That is what is address mapping. So what is address mapping? It is a method used for translating the main memory address to the cache address. अभी मैंने बोला कि अपने पास कैश को भी एड्रेस रहता है. कहाँ चला गया डायग्राम? कैश के पास भी एड्रेस है, मेन मेमोरी के पास भी एड्रेस है. कैश के एड्रेस को हम क्या बोलते हैं? टैग. और मेमोरी एड्रेस को वी कॉल इट एज मेमोरी एड्रेस ओनली. ओके, सो व्हेन आई एम कन्वर्टिंग दिस मेमोरी एड्रेस टू कैश एड्रेस, I call it as address mapping. Okay, So method of translating the main memory address to cache address is considered as address mapping. कौन सी 3 टेक्निक है? डायरेक्ट एड्रेसिंग, फुल्ली एसोसिएटिव एंड सेट एसोसिएटिव. Let us see what is direct. But before that, let us understand few terminologies which we will be using to understand this address mapping. First is block. Any idea what is block? Main memory is divided into blocks. Have you heard this? Anybody? Yes or no? At least say no or yes.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
ठीक है, आपका जो मेन मेमोरी है रैम, उसमें डेटा कैसे स्टोर होता है? ब्लॉक में. हर एक ब्लॉक को एड्रेस होता है. 0000 इज वन ब्लॉक, 0001 इज another block, 0002 is another block. Okay, so main memory is divided into block, and what is that block? It is nothing but the place where your data is stored. Okay, so block, whenever a main memory is divided into block, वो block का एक fixed size रहता है. 2 KB, 1 KB, 3 KB. तो हर एक ब्लॉक 2 KB के होंगे. 1 KB तो हर एक ब्लॉक 1 KB का. 4 KB तो हर एक ब्लॉक 4 KB का. ऐसा. So what is block? A fixed size packet of information that moves back and forth between cache and main memory. तो अभी ये जो डायग्राम था, if I'm telling कि ABC is in main memory, तो ABC किधर है? वो एक ब्लॉक में स्टोर है. तो जब ABC एग्जीक्यूट होगा तो वो पूरा ब्लॉक मेन मेमोरी से CPU में जाएगा और CPU से एग्जीक्यूट होगा. ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि ABC फाइल बड़ी है, 2 ब्लॉक में स्टोर हो, तो दोनों ब्लॉक मेन मेमोरी से CPU में आएंगे और एग्जीक्यूट होंगे. ओके, क्योंकि अगर हो सकता है फाइल 4 KB का है बट ब्लॉक तो कितना है? 2 KB का ही है ना. तो 2 KB आई रिक्वायर 2 blocks. So ABC file, whenever it is executed, it is stored in 2 blocks, and those 2 blocks will be brought from main memory to CPU. You have file XYZ which takes 5 blocks for storage, 10 KB का है, तो पूरा 5 ब्लॉक मेन मेमोरी से CPU में जाएगा फॉर एग्जीक्यूशन. ओके, अंडरस्टूड व्हाट इज ब्लॉक? यस.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it is a place where your data is stored in the main memory. Understood? Next is line. What is line? Container in a cache that stores a block as well as other information such as valid bit and tag bit. Block is a part of main memory. Line is a part of cache memory. तो आपका जो कैश मेमोरी है, इधर मेन मेमोरी के पास ब्लॉक है, कैश मेमोरी के पास क्या है? लाइन है. वो लाइन में क्या स्टोर है? ये पूरा ब्लॉक ऑफ डेटा, उसके साथ और एक एक्स्ट्रा इंफॉर्मेशन. क्या? कि अगर बिट वैलिड है कि नहीं. मतलब अगर डेटा है तो बिट वैलिड है विच इज डिनोटेड बाय 1. डेटा नहीं है, खाली ब्लॉक है, तो बिट इज इनवैलिड एंड इट इज डिनोटेड बाय 0. आई रिपीट अगेन. Block is a part of main memory. Line is a part of cache. What does that line have? The entire block, that means entire data. अगर डेटा है तो उसके साथ एक वैलिड बिट भी होगा जो 1 होगा. क्यों 1 होगा? क्योंकि वो डेटा है. अगर डेटा नहीं है तो वैलिड नहीं होगा, which will be marked as 0. Understanding? Yes. Understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have block, you have valid bit and you have tag bit. Tag bit मतलब कैश का खुद का एड्रेस. क्लियर? लाइन क्या है?
Yes, ma'am.
नेक्स्ट इज सेट. कलेक्शन ऑफ 1 or more लाइन्स. अभी एक लाइन में क्या क्या है? ब्लॉक है, वैलिड बिट है, टैग बिट है. दूसरा ब्लॉक आया तो दूसरा ब्लॉक, दूसरा वैलिड बिट, दूसरा टैग बिट. तीसरा लाइन आया तो तीसरा ब्लॉक, तीसरा वैलिड बिट, तीसरा टैग बिट. So when I collect all these lines, I call it as a set. Understood? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So I have 3 techniques: direct, fully and set. तीनों में हमारे पास ब्लॉक भी होगा, लाइन भी होगा, सेट भी होगा. अगर डायरेक्ट एक्सेस है तो एक ही लाइन होगी, सिंगल लाइन. बट अगर फुल्ली एसोसिएटिव और सेट एसोसिएटिव है तो उसमें बहुत सारी लाइंस होगी. ठीक है? What is set? Set is a collection of line. What is line? Line is having block and a tag bit and a valid bit. What is a block? Block is nothing but a data, actual data of your main memory. समझ में आया?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. let us now see what is direct mapping. Look at this diagram. This is your main memory divided into blocks. Okay, block 0, block 1, block 2, block 3, and so on till block 15. Okay. You have set 0, set 1, set 2, set 3. अभी मुझे क्या करना है? What is address mapping? मेन मेमोरी का एड्रेस को कन्वर्ट करना है कैश के एड्रेस में. That is what is address mapping. Yes or no? अभी हमने पढ़ा ना एड्रेस मैपिंग क्या है. मेन मेमोरी का एड्रेस को ट्रांसलेट करेंगे हम कैश एड्रेस जानने के लिए. करेक्ट?
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ. So how do we translate that we are going to see. तो मेमोरी एड्रेस तो हमको पता है 0000, 0001, 0010. These are the memory address starting from 000. अभी हमको क्या करना है? We have to convert this address into a cache address. Cache address को हमको calculate करना है. So how do we calculate if it is direct mapping? We have a formula. Cache slot number is equal to block number of main memory mod total number of slots in cache. You can write this in your book so that it will be easy when we calculate. Write this formula in your book. In direct mapping, to identify the cache number, formula is cache number is equal to block number of main memory mod total number of slots in cache. Written? Yes or no?
No, ma'am. Writing.
हाँ. Written? Should I change the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see the diagram. I have main memory divided into blocks. Okay. Block 0 has address 0000. Why? Because binary of 0 is 0000. Correct? If you don't say yes or no, I will declare this topic. Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Block 1 memory address is 0001. Why? Because binary of 1 is 0001. Next, block 2 memory address 0010. Why? Because binary of 2 is 0010. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So if it is block 15, what will be the memory address? Binary of 15, which is 1111. So understood from how we have calculated this memory address?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we have to calculate these cache address. So to calculate the cache address, we have divided these memory blocks into 4 groups. Okay. Can you see over here group 0001, 1011?
Yes, ma'am.
So from how did I get this group 00? All the memory locations starting with 00, 00, 00, 00, 00, first 4 blocks are termed inside the group 00. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
All the groups starting with 01, 01, 01, 01, 01. Look at the pointer. All these 4 01 are considered to be as group 01. So what is binary of 00? Decimal of 00? 0. So this is considered as group 0. Decimal of 01? 1.
1.
This is considered as group 1. Next, 10, 10, 10, 10 is considered to be as group 10. Decimal of 10 is 2. So this is group number 2. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, 11, 11, 11, 11. So this is group 11. Decimal of 11 is 3. So this is group 3. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Main memory has 16 blocks divided into 4 groups. Group 0, group 1, group 2, group 3. Understood?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now your cache memory. Can you see this? Cache data memory.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
It is divided into 4 set. Set 0, set 1, set 2, set 3. Okay. Now what are we supposed to do? We are going to find out the cache number from your memory address. Why? Because address mapping says that if you want to find out the cache address, you have to translate the memory address to get the cache address. So do we know what are the memory addresses?
Yes, ma'am.
So now we just want to know that what is the cache address. अगर ब्लॉक नंबर से सपोज 11, ये ब्लॉक नंबर 11 कैश मेमोरी में कौन से एड्रेस पे स्टोर है ये जानना है, तो व्हाट वी हैव टू डू इज वी हैव टू कन्वर्ट द मेमोरी लोकेशन ऑफ ब्लॉक नंबर 11 बाय यूजिंग दिस फॉर्मूला इन ऑर्डर टू गेट दैट वेयर इज द tag bit of the block number 11 in this particular set. Did you understood this or should I repeat?
Repeat.
I have 16 memory blocks. I just want to know that what is the address of these 16 blocks in this cache memory. So if I want to know the address of my cache, I have to convert this main memory address by using this formula. And once when I use this formula, what will I get to know? I will get to know the cache number. That means I will get to know my cache address. Okay. So what I have to do is block number of main memory. Suppose if I want to see that block number 11 आपके cache में किधर store होता है. So what is block number of my main memory? Block number is 11. Correct? Next is mod total number of slots in cache. Do I know the slots of cache? Yes, there are 4 slots of cache. So when I do 11 mod 4, what do I get? Give me the quotient and remainder. What do I get?
Sorry, ma'am. Please repeat.
I want to know that block number 11 is in which set or what is the address of the cache memory for block number 11. Block number 11 अभी किधर है main memory में. तो जब भी अगर वो cache memory में आएगा तो उसका address क्या होगा that I want to find. So how do I find? I will find by using this formula. So what is my block number? Block number is 11, which is in the main memory. Mod it with total number of slots in cache. Slots कितने slots है cache में? Count from here. 1, 3. So when I do 11 mod 4, tell me the answer.
Quotient is 2 and that remainder is 3.
Quotient. Everybody, quotient is 2 and remainder is 3. Correct, no?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever is your quotient is your group number. The quotient is your group number and remainder is your set number. Write it somewhere. Whenever you perform this formula, whatever you get in your quotient is your group number and whatever you get in your remainder is your set number. Written?
Yes, ma'am.
Now look at the diagram. We come to block number 11. What is the binary of 11? 1 0 1 1. Correct?
Yes.
तो कौन सा ग्रुप नंबर कौन सा मिला from the formula?
2.
So just check. Is it belonging to group 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. Now what is the remainder that we get?
3.
3. Is it belonging to set number 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Understood? So we have converted the memory block address from memory block address of 11 from main memory to the set number which is belonging to set number 3. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
If you do not use this formula, what is the other way? Come to block number 11. What is the binary of 11? 1 0 1 1. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
First 2 bits are going to tell you the group. First 2 bits will tell you the group 1 0, which means which group? Group number
2 to 10.
And remaining 2 bits will tell you the set. So 1 1 is binary of which decimal of 1 1 is
3.
3. So it is belonging to set number 3. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So now take bit 5, block number 5, and tell me it belongs to which particular group and which particular set. 5, block 5.
1 1.
1 1, which means which group? Group
Group 1.
Group 1.
Set 1.
Group 1 and set 1.
Set 1.
When I go to 5, I get 0, 1, 0, 1. So belonging to group 0, 1. Is it belonging to group 0, 1? Yes.
Yes,
0,
ma'am.
1 is decimal. What is the decimal of 0, 1? It is 1. So it is
One.
belonging to set number 1. Can you see that line?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is how we can convert a memory address into the cache address. Okay. So once we get the cache address, we come to know that that block belongs to which particular set. So this means what? Block number 5 किधर store है आपके cache में? Set 1 में. Block number 11 किधर store है? Set number 3 में. समझा?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is what is direct mapping. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
What are the advantages? It is very simple to implement. Why? Because we know how many are the memory blocks. We know how many sets are there. We simply have to find the mod of it. Whatever comes in the quotient is the group. Whatever comes in the remainder is the set. Okay. It can be implemented. For this implementation, which memory do we require over here? Which main memory? It should be SRAM. Okay. What are disadvantages? Poor hit ratio. What is poor hit ratio? Hit ratio means what? If I'm searching for a data and if the data is found, immediately it is called as good hit ratio. But if I'm searching for a data and if the data is not found, I call it as a poor hit ratio. For example, bit 0, if I'm searching in first set and if I get it in first set, I will call it as good hit ratio. But B1, for block number B1, if I search it in S1 and if I do not get it in S1, I call it as poor hit ratio. Why? Because S1 mein nahi mila, I have to go and search it in S2. And since that much time is wasted for searching in S1 also and searching in S2 also. So for example, agar B15 rahega, so B15 first I will search in S1, not found S2, not found S3, not found S4, like that. So I wasted the time in searching in S1, S2 and S3. So that is what is called as poor hit ratio. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
मैम
हाँ.
ये पूरा प्रोसेस तब यूज होता है ना जब मेमोरी जब जो डेटा है वो डिस्प्ले हो चुका है स्क्रीन में, फिर
हाँ.
वो मेन मेमोरी से सेकेंडरी मेमोरी में जाने वाला होता है तब.
Correct. Both the times, reading time and writing time.
Okay, ma'am.
Next is fully associative. Whatever we did now was direct mapping. ठीक है? Directly block main memory का address ले लो, mod it with the total number of sets and map it directly in the cache memory. Now second is fully associative. Now what is fully associative? This is very simple technique. You have main memory blocks, you have cache memory block. मेन मेमोरी में से आपको डेटा अगर कैश मेमोरी में डालना है, whichever cache is free, you can simply put that in that particular cache. For example, if this is the main memory address as 000, if you want to store this 000 or convert this 00 into your cache address, go into the cache. If the first slot is free, go and store this data in the first slot. Or if second is free, go and search it, go and place it in the second slot. If third is free, go and place it in the third slot. So you don't have to calculate anything. Whichever slot is empty or whichever set is empty in the cache, go and store the data in that particular set of the cache memory. Understanding? Whereas what is happening in direct memory, direct accessing में block number 1 है, भले अगर set 1 free है तो भी according to the calculation it should go in set number 1 only and not in set number 0. Whereas what is fully associative, if these blocks are free, you can store, if suppose this set is free, how much ever block can fit in this set, you can fit those many blocks in that particular set. Will this result into poor hit ratio or high hit ratio?
Poor.
Why poor?
High hit.
मैम ये वाला ना.
हाँ नहीं ये नहीं, fully associative. Fully associative में क्या है, अगर ये set, listen to me, अगर ये set के पास 16 slots free है, so can I store all these 16 slots in this set? Yes. So
Yes, ma'am.
then in this case, will it result into poor hit ratio?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So that is the advantage of fully associative. Whichever block is free, do not calculate any address, simply go and store the data or store that block in that particular set. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Whereas what is happening in direct access, we have to calculate the address and then store in the address only, even if the previous set is free. अभी यहाँ पे set 0 में block 0 ही है, block 1 भी जा सकता था, but did we put? No, because according to the calculation, what did it tell us? It should belong to group 0, but should be the part of set 1. So because of that, it resulted into poor hit ratio, whereas this will not come in fully associative because we are storing the blocks as and when the set is free. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now see, fully set associative. We have main memory over here. We have how many blocks? Block 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay? We have cache memory over here, and we have address of the cache memory as a tag. Okay? Now, if block 1 wants to come in this cache memory, what does fully associative tells? Whichever is free, you can put that block 1 in that particular slot. So block 0 is occupied. Block 0 wo idhar occupy ho chuka hai. Cache block 0, cache block 1, and this is free. So out of 1, 2, and 3, wherever this block wants to fit can get accommodated over here. Understanding? So block 1 can go to any empty cache block. So which are the 3 which are free? Cache block 0, cache block 1, and this was free. So it has taken the place over here with the tag bits as 000001. Understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Now block 2. Can block 2 fit into any of this cache slot? Yes. Why? Because first 2 are still free. So I can put block number 2 over here also and over here also, anywhere. Again, if I put block 2 over here, I still have one more place to fit block number 3. So when next, if I want to put block number 3 can come over here also. Understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what is fully associative. No mapping. Whichever block is free, simply put that memory block into the cache block. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now next is set associative. What is set associative? It is combination of both direct and fully associative. Let us see. Blocks from set I can map into any cache block set from set I. Now see, here I have already mentioned the set numbers. Was this there previously in your fully associative and in your direct?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. So what is done? The main memory, in the main memory itself, with the block number, I have also mentioned the set number. So what will happen when it goes to the cache block? It has to go in that particular set only. So block 0 can go in which set? In set number 0.
0.
So when it comes to the cache, which is set 0, this is set 0. So 2 blocks are free. So either this block 0 can go in the first slot or it can go in this second slot. Why? Because set 0 has 2 blocks. It is written set 0 over here. So set 0 में जितने blocks खाली है उसमें से कोई भी एक slot में the block 0 can go. Understanding?
Yes.
Now see next, block 1. Block 1 should go where? Set number 1. तो set number 1 में 2 खाली है. तो अगर जिधर भी खाली है उधर block number 1 जाएगा. But now, when you see the diagram, let us assume like this कि दोनों में से कुछ भी खाली नहीं है. ठीक है, block 1 को मुझे डालना था, but block 1 के जगह पे already block 3 और block 5 आ चुके हैं, because वो भी set 1 को belong करते हैं. समझ रहे हो?
Yes.
So what will I do in that case? Will I not store block 1? I have to store, no? Can I go and store it in set 0? No. Because उसके बाजू में set 1 लिखा है तो set 1 में ही आना चाहिए. So what will I do? Block 1, which is telling कि it can go over here also and it is telling me that it can go here also. But उसमें already 2 block है. So what will I do? I will check these 2 slots. इसमें से जो भी least recently used है, I will replace that with block number 1. अगर block 2, block 3 है, अगर उसमें से block number 3 में जो data है, suppose XYZ file, वो 2 दिन से यूज ही नहीं हुई है, तो I will remove that XYZ file which is in block 3 and I'll replace it with block 1. Understanding? So if you want to put a block in a set, but if that set is already full, you do not have to go and store it in some another set. You will be choosing the one, system will choose that whichever is least recently used, it will replace it with that particular set. Understood?
But ma'am, what if the least recently used the block will be the most important one?
तो भी उसको टेम्पररी हटाना ही होगा आपको. हटा के आप डिलीट नहीं कर रहे हो, उसको 3 के जगह पे भेज रहे हो मेन मेमोरी में. जब वो लगेगा वापस आ जाएगा, तब तक ब्लॉक 1 का काम हो जाएगा.
ओके, समझा.
बिकॉज कैश छोटा ही है ना, हम सब कुछ नहीं फिट कर सकते उसके अंदर. समझा? तो अभी at this point of time, if block 1 is important, block 1 has to come, and block 3 भले वो कितना भी important हो, it has to go to the main memory. That is what is called as swapping. Okay?
Yes.
So block 1 belongs to set 1. So it can, whichever set 1 is empty, your block 1 will go and store there. Understood? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
What is this telling? The one which I explained. FE किधर store है? Set 0 में. FC किधर store है? Set 0 में. अभी block 0 को store करना है. तो मैं क्या करूंगी? इन दोनों में से जो भी least recently used है. So for example FE, तो FE हो जाएगा बाहर और block 0 आ जाएगा इधर. समझे? So least recently used will be removed and it will be replaced by the current one which has to get executed. तो ये जो data है, एड्रेस, टैग नंबर यहां से मिलेगा, सेट नंबर यहां से मिलेगा, एंड बाइट्स वो तो जितना डेटा है उतना फिल होगा. अगर कोई भी बाइट नहीं है तो 0000, 2 बाइट्स का है तो 0001, लाइक दैट. अंडरस्टैंडिंग?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how is your address divided? Address is divided as tag bits, which are these, set number, which is this, and the block and the line offset. That means कितना bytes का data है, 2 bits, 3 bits, उसका binary bits. Understood? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is a tag? Portion of a block address range used to identify the main memory block residing in the cache from the main memory block. तो हमने क्या किया? ये tag कहाँ से मिला? ये address जब data main memory से यहाँ पे आया तो हमने इसको टैग बना दिया. ठीक है? तो दिस इज अ कैश एड्रेस which is telling that this block belongs to main memory with this particular address, and it belongs to cache memory with this particular address. Clear? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts up till here?
No, ma'am.
So what we have done today, we have done 3 address mapping techniques: direct, fully associative, and set associative. I hope all 3 are clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Tomorrow we'll start with the last part, that is interleaved memory. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Start your attendance.
I'm present.
पीछे
Present.
से हाँ, पीछे से किसका प्रेजेंट आया? I'm not going to mark.
Arushi present.
Prem present.
Shubham present.
Martin present.
Masira present.
Rimi present.
Manvi present.
Parth present.
Jay present.
Samar present.
Swarangi present.
Asmi present.
Kunj present.
Krish present.
I have told you पीछे से आएगा. I'm not going to answer.
Ruth present.
Kunal present.
Akshat, present.
Miren present.
माइक इशू अभी लेक्चर में ही होता है, ओरल प्रैक्टिकल के टाइम पे माइक इशू नहीं होता है तुम्हारा।
Krishna present.
Viren present.
Sneha present.
Nehal present.
Kunal present.
Pratham present.
Sorry.
Dhruv present.
Meet present.
Rushabh present.
Meet present.
Kunal present.
Mitali present. Janvi present.
Yash present.
Soham present.
Bhavya present. Subodh present.
Ma'am, Naitik present.
अभी किधर नैतिक नाम गया, 1 2 3 4 पहले।
मैं उसमें डाल रहा था, मुझे लगा माइक इशू होगा, पर चालू है मेरा माइक। चैट बॉक्स में डाल रहा था मैं।
Aditya present.
Pranay present.
Sharwari present. Umul Kiram present.
Rudransh present.
Ummi Salma present.
Om present.
Siddhi present.
Tejas present.
Akanksha present.
Pushkar present.
You all can leave.
Ma'am, one more student is there
Who?
from direct second year. Yash Mishra.
कभी आया?
मैम दो वीक हो गया आई गेस, 2-3 वीक हो गया।
बैठता है कि नहीं?
डोंट नो मैम, देखा नहीं कभी, मतलब ऐसा पर्टिकुलर नाम देखा नहीं कि है नहीं है ऐसा।
ठीक है, यश मिश्रा, वही मैंने भी नहीं सुना क्योंकि हमेशा बोलेगा ना नहीं तो अटेंडेंस के टाइम। ठीक है, आई हैव एडेड हिम।
ओके मैम।
सिट्स टुमारो। ओके,
यस मैम।
I'm recording.
हाँ।